Hey guys, I'm Chris,
And I'm Mike.
and welcome back to this year's No Limits, the Thriller Podcast. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I am great and just want to let you know this episode and every episode coming at you in 2026 will be brought to you by the Thriller Pod Patron Book Club. So just head over to thrillerpod.com, click the Patreon tab to learn more, and become part of this amazing book club where the talk never stops. And Chris, I cannot wait for some of the patrons to read The Persian.
Oh, yes.
I really do think this one has to be read twice.
Mm.
It's a very intricate, very complex web of spy versus spy, double agents, Tehran and Israel, ripped from the headline stuff, as we've come to expect with so many of these authors that we read. But it is dense and it is thick and it is heavy. And I wasn't quite sure the first read how much I was into it. But thank goodness I stuck through to the end, because the ending is just explosive and gripping. And then you telling me you absolutely love this book. I was like, what did I miss? I got to go back to it. And I'm enjoying it so much more on the second reread. And all of that dense stuff pays off so well. And I'm having such a better time understanding who's who and which plot lines fit where. Because, man, this thing was messy for a little bit with the timing and the narrative. But once I read it again a little slower and savored it, it's absolutely genius. I think it's a masterclass, this book, on espionage writing.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And, there is something to be said about not like trudging through a book. Like we weren't planning to do that. I had just finished a book and I just started listening to it in my free time. And I slowly chewed it until it like caught me that I like was literally like hiding in the bathroom, like, or like saying to Caroline, I'll walk the dog, like, so I could listen,
Yep.
Doing the dishes. It was slow going. First couple chapters, you were texting me because you were a little bit ahead of me. I was like, yeah, I agree with you. It's a little rough. But then I just kept on, it had me wrapped that I couldn't wait to get back to it. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't had that experience with a book since Project Hail Mary, really, that I can't wait to get back to these characters and these storylines. Like, and because of their, this is a book that has all new characters, a lot of characters. Obviously we're in like a different regime, different like area. So a lot of different, new character names. And it was funny tonight, we were talking about books and puzzles and about how when you're reading a book or you're doing a puzzle, you get to that point where you just want to keep either finishing that puzzle or keep finishing that book. But at the same time, you don't want it to end. Like, you don't want to finish the puzzle, don't want to finish the book. Sure. I got to that point. My mother-in-law she reads books, but we were talking about the puzzle and I was like, that's so funny, because I was thinking about this pod tonight. I'm like, that's exactly how I felt with The Persian. Yeah. How I didn't want the book to end. Like, because, I'm just going to say the thing I think that makes this book brilliant is the fact that the end. Like, you don't know the actual end, but you know that he's in captivity. You know that he doesn't,
exactly.
Like, he gets caught. So you know that like right off the bat. And like, once you understand that, and it's just this like peeling back of the onion and spy versus spy, like McCloskey for me just did it again.
Yeah.
I this is up there with Damascus Station, dude, for me. I think this is, dare I say it, better than The Seventh Floor. I really connected with this book. And I guess the other thing I really liked about it, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling, I'll let you speak,
No,
was
please.
I liked how it was just a different story plot. We had the Mossad and we had the Iranians. Like, we didn't have to bring in the CIA at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was a nice fresher, like, to just get away from that,
Yeah.
He's just an ordinary guy who obviously had, was able to coerce people, obviously very good at, certain areas of espionage. You have the Glitzman character who reminds me of all like the best of the spy characters that we've read in all these novels we've covered.
Something out of Gabriel Allon, like like his mentor for sure.
But even Irene Kennedy,
absolutely.
You have George Smiley in him, like all these characters that run assets. I mean, like, this book draws heavily on like Homeland and just I don't know. I love this book, and I don't know what we should say, 'cause since we're covering this, and I read it in 2025, but we're covering it in 2026. It's now, for me, this would have been in my top 5 of 2025
Wow.
for sure.
Dude, you just absolutely crushed it. I don't even know where to pick up there. You made like 5 or 6 insanely good points, and I gotta say, I'm just so glad you're my wingman, because almost everything you just said that I entirely agree with was nowhere near my first experience with this book. I'm hitting that halfway point. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to keep going. And thank goodness I did, because everything you said comes true once this book falls into place. And that's why the puzzle analogy you made is spectacular. When you are at that stage of a puzzle where you just don't see it, you like can't envision yourself getting to the end.
It's frustrating.
And it's just
You're
so
like,
frustrating.
I have all these pieces and I don't know where to put them. Yeah.
Dude, it's so frustrating.
Like you finish the border and now you have to start from real, right?
Maybe you have the border, or maybe you have like clumps of 5 or 6 and you're so excited when those few snap together. You're like, shit, I don't know how to place this. Like, where does it go within the border? And or you run out of those border pieces and then you got to make that next hump of filling in the middle. Well, fortunately, everything, I would say halfway through this book, maybe a little later, I just think all those complexities fell into place. And when I hit that stage of that puzzle clicking together, and I had like a 5-6 piece chunk and was able to place that chunk in the corner and snap it in, it felt so good. And then, like a puzzle, the last third of this book, when you see the final picture, you think you know what it's going to look like in the end.
Right.
And I got to say, I mean, David McCloskey being an insider in the industry and being a CIA analyst and knowing not only the realpolitik of how some of these geopolitical things go down and who the major players are, but also just knowing the internal psychology of someone in captivity or someone being run as an agent, as an asset. He knows the human mind under those stressful circumstances so well. I don't know if it's personal experience or so many cases he's studied. He's kind of able to put himself into the job so well that these characters, they sing. Every single one of them, and what they're going through is almost like musical notes on a beautiful composition. Just who they are, what their motivations are, their complexities, their little quips in their dialogue, all just hum together so nicely. And I got to say, I didn't see that. I missed the forest for the trees in the very first half of the book. So once you stick through it, it all fell into place. I think the puzzle analogy is perfect. And not to mention your other point, like I said, you made a million really good points. Having none of the Americans involved, you're right, it was refreshing. It was a spy story without needing and necessitating the CIA's involvement. And that was really pleasant. I mean, that was refreshing to see in one of these books. So hats off to McCloskey. I think not only because of this book, but the whole slate of his works, he will go down as one of the best American espionage writers and spy novelists, dare I say, of all time, but definitely of this generation.
Oh yeah, I'm convinced.
Absolutely.
Singing its praises as like one of my top books that I've read in 2026, but I don't know, for some reason it just stuck with me. You know,
it's you said it might be your favorite of his.
I don't know. I think it's like close to Damascus Station.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Seventh Floor. They're different. They're different. They're similar but different. It's
I'll absolutely say it's a better story. It's a better written story for sure. I will absolutely say that.
All right. Well, all I know is that Dave McCloskey. He put something out. I'm reading it all the way through.
Yep, absolutely. And we're covering it on this pod.
Yeah. Next up, we are covering Chris Howdy's Dead Ringer. Super intriguing Kennedy like retrospective. I am, like I said, I think I'm 15 chapters in, and I'm hooked. Like, I want to know where the story goes. It could go off a cliff. I don't know, but
it's
we'll
wild.
See.
And I knew it was a JFK conspiracy kind of
me too. But
assassination story. I didn't expect what you get right in the very beginning. I did not expect it. And then it turns into like a Steve Berry kind of historical adventure. Wow so far. So yeah.
But before we get out of here, we got to thank our patrons, our deputy directors, Sherry F. and Brad E., special agents, Adam, Mike, Ben, Daryl, George, Matt, Don, and Chris. Please subscribe, rate, and review to all 3 seasons. No limits. You can find us anywhere you can get podcasts, Apple, Spotify. Check out our new website. Mike's put a lot of work into that. It's looking great. thrillerpod.com. Twitter and Instagram @thrillerpodcast. And as always, let Cam be Cam.